It's another car vlog. I hope you're not sick of these yet. Although I know there are people who have entire channels that are just car vlogs, like Peter Mon, and there's a guy who was inspired by him to do a car vlog, and that's all they do is every day of their life they upload a vlog where they drove around in their car. So I don't know. That's probably not why you're here on my channel. But you're here, so welcome. If you're new, welcome. If you've been here before, you know me, and thank you for coming back. I need to take a sip of this giant can of Coke. I know, I should be drinking water. I know. I do, in fact, have a big bottle of water back here. For the record, okay, I'll be good. I'll drink my water. I have Rusty in the front seat in her little doggy bed with me. We just dropped Uncle Jeremy. Rusty's Uncle Jeremy. He's not my uncle. He's my best friend. One of my best friends. Friend Jeremy and podcast buddy, who also had a lot to do with getting me to do my YouTube channel. He was probably my single biggest encouragement person pushing me to do this when I started it. And even well before I started it, my channel's been up forever, since like 2009 or something. It's ridiculous how long it's been up. But I never really did a lot with it. And then last year, with everything that happened, with all the shutdowns and lockdowns and quarantines, no jobs and staying home, I thought, I'm finally going to start really focusing on trying to do this. And even then, before that, in 2018, 2019, people were asking me about it. Are you going to do a channel? I always have people asking me that. In fact, I think from the time I went on social media, I had people saying, and then YouTube started, they're like, are you going to do a YouTube channel? And I don't know. I always say it's a thing where, like, people say, why haven't you written a book? And say, because I have nothing that I feel important enough to say to put it in a book. And somebody's, I've heard that, I forgot where I heard that line, but it was something like, well, I wrote a book because I finally felt like I had something important to say. And that's kind of how I feel about my channel. It's not that I didn't feel like I had anything to say in the past, and in fact, I really regret that when I was doing dog rescue and I did all that I didn't have a channel back then. But I don't know, everything happens for some kind of reason that makes no sense to me. But I didn't do it then, and I can't lament it, that doesn't change anything or help anything. So what I'm doing is just trying to make the best of where I am now and sharing what I'm sharing now. And yeah. So this is so weird. Jeremy was saying he's kind of melancholy leaving, and it's always so hard when my friends leave, because we've been friends since we were in our 20s and played in the band together. We were roommates, so we're all old roommates, and we've lived our lives together. Literally, we grew up together, not growing up as children, but we grew up into adults together, because we all met in our mid to early 20s and went through our 30s and our 40s together and everything, and are still going on. And, we'll probably all be retiring. We joke about we'll be moving into the old musicians' retirement home someday. But it's always weird when they leave, and it was even weirder when I moved away, because none of us ever thought that any of us would ever leave Michigan or Detroit, or that we would ever be separated by this many miles. So it was quite the shock when I finally said, hey, I'm moving to Pennsylvania. It was also really hard for me. Really, really hard. I mean, leaving my family and everything was one thing, but I didn't even see my family every day like I did my friends. Jamie and Jeremy and I were roommates for like a decade, and then I moved in with the guy who would become my hubby, and we needed a roommate. Jeremy moved in and became our roommate for a while. So even though I moved away, Jeremy ended up becoming a roommate again. And he's always just kind of been around and roommate here and there and back and forth. And wow, there are some really pretty clouds out here today. It's a gorgeous day too. He was saying he was sad that he had to leave. He said, I wish I was here just one more day because it's such a pretty day out. It's but I think every time he visits, we say that. I wish it was one more day. And it's that thing where, like with everyone, you have a good time. You're like, God, why can't it just be one more day? It's part of life, I guess. You always just want that one more day, that one more hour, one more night, whatever. But we had a good time. We did a lot of stuff. Honestly, we packed in a lot. We filmed 9 different videos. Several of them are actual podcasts for our Synontotic podcast. And there's a few of them, like 3 of them, that are candle videos that he did with me, which was really fun because it's interesting to do a candle video on my own. I really wish he was here all the time to do these, because when doing the candle videos together, you'll see when you watch them, everybody smells things differently. We all have different senses of smells and taste. That's why everybody doesn't like all the same things. Hello. But, candles that I smell something he didn't, or he would point something out in a candle scent that I didn't pick up on, and then maybe 2 or 3 times smelling it, I could pick up on that scent a little bit. And he made good points about them, and I made points about them. And it's good to have somebody to share these things in a review like that, because otherwise I know everybody's like, oh, that's, it's my opinion. But sometimes I don't even know what the hell my opinion is. I don't know. Like, I think a candle smells like something that Jeremy's like, but does it though? And I'm like, yeah, it smells exactly like this. He's like, but does it though? And I'm like, well, now you have me questioning myself, but I think it does. That kind of thing. So that was fun, just recording the videos, and we recorded some podcast ideas that we had for a while. We didn't get to a couple of the big podcast subjects that we wanted to get to, and I'm not telling you what they are because you got to come back and watch them. But there were a couple of biggies that are pretty big topics. I will tell you what one is. It's on body image and male body image. Jeremy goes to the gym. He lifts a lot of weights, but he's not like no interest in that Instagram model type thing. That ship has sailed for both of us. We're not interested in that. But we did go to the gym together yesterday. That was also fun. It's cool having him around, like to have somebody to go to the gym with, because going by yourself, face it, it's kind of boring. It's fun, like you get in your own little world, but it's cool to have somebody there, that you can, like he went off and did his thing, I went off and did my thing. Then we met up and like, how much more do you have to do? And he's like, about 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I think I'm just about done. Maybe I can do one more thing, or not. So it's fun to just have someone there who you know. Although Landon was there, one of my local friends I haven't seen him in forever. He was on a stair climber and elliptical. I was on the treadmill. I turned around and he was there. I was like, so that was cool. He looks awesome, by the way. He is in such good shape. He's an EMT and does he's like a paramedic. I think he's EMT, and I thought he was going for like the full paramedic things. I think that's more detailed, more study. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not that familiar with EMT versus paramedic, but I thought I saw him post something online about working more towards paramedic. But before that, he did volunteer firefighting. I believe he still does that too. So he's a really active guy, and he's in really great shape now. He looks so good now. He looks so healthy. And I felt so bad in comparison. I'm looking at me going, oh my God. As I drink my Coke, I look terrible. Rusty's here looking at me like, we've been driving for a really long time, and I have not seen a nugget window. Where are the nuggies? She wants her nuggies. I will get you nuggies. Don't worry, we're not near the nuggie place yet. I always have to stop and get her chicken nuggets or something when we go in the car. She's so used to it now. If you're wondering why I brought Rusty with me to take Jeremy to the airport is roughly an hour drive from my house. That's the closest airport. True story. I told you I live in the boonies. I live an hour from the nearest airport. Big airport with jets and such. So I brought her with me because Rusty's been having a hard time. I talked about it in one of my other videos. But Rusty is over 17 and a half years old now, and she's been having some problems with her legs, mostly due to her spinal issues, and now, she's just getting like some neuropathy and stuff in her legs. And we did change her medication from Novox to prednisone, from like an NSAID to low-dose prednisone, and it's making a really big difference. It's helping a lot. She's definitely improving, so that's a good thing. But I don't like leaving her at home alone, because as much better as she's getting, if she falls over or loses her footing, she falls and she just kind of falls sideways and body slams into the floor. We don't want that. I can't really put her in a crate because her legs, she can't really bend her legs very well anymore. She does bend them a little bit, but they're very stiff. And if she tries to stand up in the crate, she kind of gets panicky. She also is very independent, and she wants to get up and go potty by herself. At her age also, we've noticed she doesn't hold it as long as she used to be able to. We did have her blood work done, and her kidneys are perfect, so that's a good thing. But she lets us know when she has to go potty, because she'll be sleeping, and she'll sit up and go, meow, and she sounds like a kitty. She makes these little kitty sounds, and that means she either wants potty, food, or water. And we just go down the list to see what she needs. Sometimes she just wants to stand up and stretch her legs. But she's sleeping in a little dog bed here. I don't know if you can maybe see the top of it in the frame. She's just been kind of napping. She lifts her head up and looks at me and says, "Hey, where are we? We home yet?" But she loves riding in the car now. She used to not like it when she was young. She used to have a lot of anxiety in the car. Now I think it's just how they say put a baby in the car and drive around and they go to sleep, which some people say that works. I don't know. Uh-oh. Sorry, I had to yawn. My ears are popping. I don't know if you hear my Jeep, but we're going up a mountain on the freeway, so my ears just popped. But Rusty lets us know when she wants something. I do have a soft pen that's like a big soft puppy pen kind of thing that I can put her in. And I've put her in it and I've watched her, and she stands up and she gets frustrated because she just walks into the sides. Even though she has a potty pad in there, she's a very bright girl. She doesn't want to go potty where she's sleeping. And dogs usually don't. Some are not good at that. Not mentioning any names, some of my past dogs. Rusty wants to go potty nowhere near where she sleeps. So she wants to get out of the pen, go to the papers. She's so well paper trained. She came to us as a rescue. She came to us paper trained, which was excellent, and she always has been. And she wants to go to her papers. It doesn't matter if she's stumbly or falling over or what. She's like, nope, take me to the paper. And she has to go there. That's just her thing. That's where she's comfortable. So if I leave her in a pen or leave her somewhere, I know that she can't hold it for, it takes me at least 2 hours of driving just to the airport and back. And in the time of like saying goodbye, I'm gone about 2 hours and 20 minutes, honestly, roughly, depending on traffic. So I just can't leave her alone by herself for that long. She needs to either have someone there with her, and I didn't call anyone, and I didn't really have anybody available. And as it is, I really have trouble finding dog sitters, and especially short notice. So shout out to my dog sitter, Sarah, who watched all the dogs and Rusty last Friday night so that we could go out. She stayed at our house and stayed with all the dogs and took care of them so my husband and Jeremy and I could go out for a little bit. That was really nice because we haven't been able to. My husband and I have not gone out alone together in weeks. I want to say 3 weeks, going on a month. We haven't been able to go out together anywhere because one of us has to stay home with Rusty. I go out and go shopping, or he goes out and goes shopping, but we take turns and somebody stays home with her. And this whole time Jeremy's been here, Jeremy and I go out and we go do our thing and we go eat and we run around and we bring food home for my husband. But my husband has been either working from home or staying home. Luckily, as a home office, he stayed home when Jeremy was here, so Jeremy and I could enjoy our friend time, go out and do things. So it's been a little rough. I mean, emotionally, mentally, physically sometimes, because she doesn't want to sleep through the night. So we take turns with that when necessary. She is getting so much better though on the prednisone. It's making a big difference. She's never, I think the hardest thing to come to terms with is what my husband said. She's never going to be cured. We're never going to miraculously go, oh, she's totally back to normal now and totally better. I mean, she's 17 and a half. We're managing her old age. But I took her we went to Wawa before coming down to the airport. Of course, Jeremy had to have his very last Wawa trip, and he was very melancholy about it. He got his last pepperoni sandwich, and he got in the car, and he had it, and he said, I waited in the car with Rusty. Well, actually, I took Rusty out and walked her around the lawn, and she did great, and she went potty and everything. They have a big grassy area there people walk their dogs on. And Jeremy came out, and he said, oh, this is my last pepperoni sandwich ever. And I said, not ever. And he goes, not ever, but for probably too long in the foreseeable future or whatever, you know. So he got his chai latte. I believe maybe he had a chai latte. I don't know. Did he, Rusty? And he likes a frozen chai latte and a pepperoni sandwich. And there's just nowhere in Michigan that makes anything that's like that breakfast pepperoni bagel sandwich thing that Wawa has. Clearly, if there was one in Michigan, Jeremy would find it and he would love it. But he's like, no, I'm not going to end up having one of these until I get, back out here again. I'm hoping he can come back out, and definitely by the fall he's going to come out and visit again. We really liked it. He came out last fall, and I want to say October. I think he was here last October. So much fun. It was a really good time, and it's so pretty out in the fall. The hiking is beautiful. It's not too hot. It's really nice out. Coming out in July and August is cool if you want to go kayaking and swimming and go out on the river and do that kind of stuff. And Jeremy is not, if you can tell by looking at him, not a let's go to the beach, let's go out on the water guy. Jeremy and water just don't really mix. He just doesn't have an interest in it. But we went to antique stores. We went to the big Saylorsburg flea market. We went to the Easton Public Market. All these things we filmed at so many places we went, we filmed. Oh, we found a weird mall called Palmer Park Mall that's down near Easton, Pennsylvania. And Jeremy loves the Dan Bell Dead Mall series here on YouTube. He's obsessed with it. He watches it. Then he got me into it and my husband into it. So we started watching Dead Mall series. And Dan Bell doesn't do a lot of them now, but there are a lot of them out there. So we went and filmed our own little mall thing. And by the way, you're not really supposed to film in malls. There are actually I did not know this. Did you know this? There are signs in the mall that say no photography or video allowed. It's a freaking mall. Like, it's a mall, like, it's a public place. I don't understand the legality. Like, what are they going to get you on if you film in a mall? I mean, I was at the mall with my friend, and we were reminiscing about, there was like FYE, and there was a Spencer's Gifts, and I did go to Bed Bath & Beyond for my giveaway next week. Well, this week. This Friday, by the way, giveaway coming up on Friday. Make sure you're watching Friday, and there are the same rules as the last collab giveaway, 7-channel collab giveaway. This is another 7-channel collab giveaway. I went to Bed Bath & Beyond and got some really cool stuff. So if you like Bed Bath & Beyond, you're going to like my next giveaway that is going to be coming up soon. So the rules will be coming up, and the video and the collab video are coming up this Friday. And what date is that? The 18th. And then we're drawing the winners of the videos on the 26th of June. So this Friday, the 18th of June, look for the collab video that'll have the giveaway rules. And all I'm going to tell you, you have to watch the whole thing, but it's going to involve just you commenting and with a secret word in the comment section of that video that I put up, and subscribing to the other channels in the collab. Same as the Think Spring Be Kind collab. So we're doing it again. Different group of people, though. Slightly different group of people. So just because you subbed to those other 6 channels last time, don't think, oh, I'm good, I don't need to. There are some new people in this collab. And so we are a bigger group, and what we do is we switch around who collabs with who, so that we kind of like meet different people online and meet new friends online and things like that. So it's pretty cool. It's really fun. So once you have a week to watch their videos, and if you want to, and blah blah blah, enter it, and then the actual drawing for the winner of it will be on June 26th. So that's coming up. That's all I'm going to say about that. Let's get back to this vlog. I just wanted to, it just made me think I was at the mall, and I did spend a chunk of change on Bed Bath & Beyond things that have to do with what the collab is this month. There's a summer beach theme going on. So it is a beach themed giveaway and a beach themed collab. So I beached the hell out at Bed Beach and Beyond. I was at Bed Beach and Beyond, and I brought home the beach. And you could win some cool stuff. Rusty's like, shut up and get my nuggets. We are kind of coming more into town. So the airport we went to is down in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's called ABE, A-B-E, Allentown, Bethlehem, Easton. The 3 big towns right around there. Jeremy and I did want to go to Bethlehem and go to the Red Stag pub and have like a little appetizer, and he wanted to have a little pre-flight drink. And in the back of the Jeep, I do have Rusty's stroller. She has a stroller because she can't walk very far. So I have a stroller for her, and I packed it and put it in the back and did all that. And then we looked at the time and we're like, it's just going to be pushing it. So we're going to put that off to another time. And we agreed that we just packed so much into this trip. We had so much fun filming. And interestingly, this was the first time that Jeremy and I edited videos together. Our videos in our podcast. First time editing, both of us sitting next to each other at my laptop. And I think you are going to really laugh at some of our editing when we're together. I mean, honestly, that's why I wish we weren't 500 miles apart. And I'm hoping I can get back to Michigan more, and he can get out here more. It's easier for him to come here right now only because of my dog situation with Rusty. If Rusty wasn't having a hard time and wasn't almost 18 years old, I would most certainly, I was planning on going back to Michigan almost every month to spend time with my dad. But with Rusty's, yes, I'm talking about you again, with her just getting older, A, I'm afraid to be away, honestly, right now, and B, I can't be away because my husband's working, someone needs to be with her. And before you say, can't you take her to Michigan? No, because if I take her to Michigan, it's a 10-hour drive. Having an elderly dog in my car for 10 hours, there's a lot of the drive through middle of Pennsylvania where you go through what's called the Pennsylvania Wilds. There's nothing out there. If I needed a vet or I had an emergency with her, I'd be screwed. And she would be screwed, and I wouldn't do that to her. She needs to be near a vet. I'm not going to take her away from home. She needs to stay here with, and she likes to be with her siblings and her daddy. So no, she's not going to Michigan. And she definitely is, she could still have time left with us. I'm sure she's not, I really don't feel she's going anywhere yet. I'm not all worried. She's got time with us, but I would never forgive myself, A, if something happened to her, B, if I was away and I didn't get to say goodbye. My husband said the same thing. This summer we were both going to try to get back to Michigan a lot, but she's been in our life for 17 years, roughly. We got her when she was just a puppy, when she was barely a year old. And we did adopt her. She was a rescue. And I took her in as a foster, and she was a big-time foster fail. We knew she was going to be a foster fail. The second my husband saw the first picture of her, he's like, oh yeah, she's not going anywhere. She's mine. So I told the rescue, you know what? My husband's in love with her. Enough said, she's adopted. It was so funny, but she was supposed to be a foster, and it was love at first sight with my husband and her. And they're just adorable together. And that's another thing, too. I could not take her to Michigan because my husband would have a nervous breakdown being 500 miles away from both of us. Plus, he knows he spends every spare minute he can. When he's not at work, he is with her. He is trying to soak up every second of however long she has left. He wants to soak up that time with her, which I understand. And I agree. And I think that's a good idea. Like, you never want to say goodbye to a dog and have regrets. Like, I should have spent more time with you. I should have spent that last day with you. Oh, I shouldn't have gone on that trip. And then something happened. You left while I was away. In fact, I've lost several dogs when my husband was either away or he was at work and I was home alone and lost them. So it's very difficult for anybody to be alone and have nobody when they lose a dog. And I don't wish that on anybody. It's really difficult. And I've gone through it way too many times, sadly. The hardest one, I think, was when I lost Odie. Odie was a senior dog. I took him when he was 10 years old. And he was with us until he was almost 17, between 17 and 18. And my husband had gone to Michigan to see his dad. And Odie was fine. Like, nothing was wrong with him. He was eating. He was acting pretty normally, just a lot more tired. But Odie is between 17 and 18. My husband went back to see his dad and his family. And Odie just got really lethargic and tired and sleepy. And he was just sleeping a lot. And he literally fell asleep on my chest and died in his sleep right on my chest. And I laid there with him for a long time just sobbing. And I was there alone with him. I mean, nobody was there. And it was when we first moved out. I didn't have any friends here. I didn't know anyone. So I'm just in this big empty house with my husband 500 miles away in Michigan. And I'm like calling him and I'm on the phone bawling my eyes out. And Odie died. And then he felt horrible that my husband felt horrible he wasn't here. Not only to say goodbye to Odie because he loved him, but for me. So it's not fun. It's difficult to get away when you have senior dogs, and right now we have lots of seniors. And we kind of have, my husband and I have kind of an unspoken agreement that we're staying with Rusty as long as she needs us, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, or a year. We're going to work it out where we can be with her, because she's just been the biggest gift in our life. Like, we don't even deserve her. She's just the greatest gift from the universe that we could ever imagine. She is a special little magical creature. Why don't I have my navigation on to get me home, which is really silly because I know where I live, but I only put it on in case there's an accident or something I need to know and get around it. But Rusty has just been such the greatest gift in our life. And it's basically like we've raised a teenager. You know, we got her when she was a baby, like right around just under a year old, I think, or right around a year old. And that's when she came into our lives. And now she's going to be 18 in October. And I don't know how anybody can just say, oh yeah, she's old now. I'm just going to go on this vacation because YOLO. And it's like, no, screw my vacation. Screw me going to see anybody. I don't need to go anywhere. I mean, yes, we need to see our families and all that, but I was just in Michigan in February. And yes, I want to go back now that I'm vaccinated. My dad's vaccinated. It'll be a lot more fun of a trip, a lot more relaxing. Things are more open. I don't have to be so stressed out. I'll still be careful and all, of course, but I don't have to be like as high stress as I was when I went there. You know, when I first went for my mom's funeral, everybody was like on eggshells because so few people were vaccinated and blah, blah, blah. It was just crazy. Luckily, like, everybody was fine. You know, nobody in my family, we were all really careful. We all quarantined. We all did everything right. I didn't go anywhere for 2 weeks before I went to Michigan. And then when I got back, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't see anyone. And coincidentally, right after I got back, almost when I got my vaccines. But everything, went really well with that trip, except for the stress of just being really careful and, okay, I'm not hugging anyone. And, I was staying 6 feet away from everybody. And wearing a mask all the time. Like the whole time, I was double masking that whole trip, double mask. So yeah, it was, you know, it wasn't fun. It was high stress. Mostly I just didn't want to get my dad sick. I was like, I don't care about anything else. I don't care so much if I get sick. I care if my dad gets sick. Because my dad is 90. But my dad is vaccinated now, which is great. And he didn't have any reactions. It's awesome that he's 90. He had no reaction to the vaccine. So that's a good thing. We all feel so much better, like being able to go see him and be around him. And for new people here, we lost my mom in February of this year, 2021. Not to an illness. She had a massive stroke. She was up there. Not as old as my dad, just a little bit younger than my dad. But, you know, she was 87. And she had a lot of health problems for very many years. It was the slowest downhill ever. It was really difficult for my dad and for the whole family. And for her, I mean, it was horrible for my mom. My mom, I think she was aware enough to know what was going on. But, you know, you just never want to see anybody going through that. And then seeing what my whole family went through, it was hard for me because I'm so far away and I wish I could have helped. And help more. And I had a lot of discussions with my dad about that, about how I wished I could have just left my whole life here. I wish I could hit a pause button on my life out here, just go to Michigan and help with my mom. And my dad kept saying, don't be guilty, don't feel bad. I mean, you have your life out there. Everybody doesn't end up staying where they grew up. You know, people move, people travel, people relocate. These things happen. You know, not everybody grows up in a house and ends up like staying within a mile of where they grew up or in their same town their whole life. And I was just never a person who wanted to do that. I love my family, I love my friends, but I did not want to stay where I grew up. I could not get out of there soon enough. And when the opportunity came up that my husband got a job in New York City, we did live apart for 4 years. We did long distance for 4 years of our 21 years together. And it was very much like he's not in the military, but it was very much the military wife thing. I took care of the house, stayed home, took care of everything. He would come back on the weekends to visit, came back almost every weekend, but I was taking care of all the dogs and the house and all that. At least I had my family and friends there and his whole family there. And, you know, Jeremy was there and everything. So it was good because I wasn't alone, but we couldn't do it anymore. I got to a point, I said, something has to change because I can't do this anymore. It's too stressful and then we realized 4 years of going back and forth to the airport, 4 years of him living in hotel rooms. And it was stupid. I mean, looking back, it was kind of really stupid. So we finally just decided, he said, okay, well, if you don't want to stay here and you want to come out east with me, I don't have the time with his job and everything going back and forth. He didn't have the time. So I'm the one who contacted a realtor. I found the hotel. I planned the drive out here. He was in New York. I drove out here with Tippy, my little heart girl here, who Tippy did pick our home that we live in now, by the way. We still call it Tippy's house. Tippy picked this one. We went to see, Tippy drove out with me, and my husband was in New York, so then he came out here, and we met up, and we stayed at a hotel right off the freeway where I just came off of. And we met with the realtor, and we went around and looked at some homes. And when we saw the one we're in currently, Tippy ran in the bedroom, was wagging her tail, running around, and we said, Tippy likes this one. And it was like, well, this is Tippy's home. She likes it. I guess this is our home now. Went through all the paperwork, went and started going through with the move. And I remember it was April of 2000, was it 7 or 8 when we moved? But it was April, and by October, we were fully moved in out here. So when we came out to look at the place, I think I started talking to her in April. I think we came out in June, and then we moved here the first day of October. Like the first 2 days of October are our house anniversary. Happy house anniversary, happy house anniversary. So that's when we moved out here. So, and it's still weird. It's hardly a week goes by where at least once a week my husband and I don't look at each other and say, we live in Pennsylvania. Like, how did this happen? And honestly, neither one of us ever had any desire nor even a thought in our heads that, hey, someday I want to live in Pennsylvania. Montana, yes. Wyoming, yes. Me wanting to live in Palm Springs or New Mexico or Arizona, abso-freaking-lutely. Pennsylvania, no. I did consider Vermont back in the day when I was really heavy into downhill skiing when I was younger, but then I was like, it's too cold, too much snow, because I didn't ski as much anymore, so, you know. So the fact that we ended up here is so bizarre. The reason we ended up here is because New Jersey tax is way too high. We moved out here with 10 dogs, okay? If anybody lives in New York or New Jersey, you will understand exactly why we live where we live, just inside the Pennsylvania border. We're only about 10-15 minutes from the freeway and the second exit being New Jersey. So we don't have to go far. New Jersey is literally right across the Delaware River from us. And the reason we moved here is we needed land. We needed a big home with lots of room for 10 dogs and lots of space. Neither of which you can get in New Jersey or anywhere around New York City unless you're a multimillionaire, which we were not. In fact, we were so broke when we moved out here. We had to get rid of as much stuff as we could. We came out with no furniture because we could only afford one little tiny moving van. And as it was, that piece of crap broke down. And I came out here. I drove out here by myself to the new home with the key with 8 of the 10 dogs with me in the pickup truck we had at the time. And all the cages were stacked. They were in their crates and they were stacked. And I would have to stop at the rest stops and like 1 or 2 at a time take the dogs out to little rest areas. It was a nightmare. And then I got to the new home. I got lost finding it. First off, I called the realtor. I'm like, I can't find it. I don't know where I am. She's like, did you pass a gas station? I said, yeah. She goes, you passed your new road. I'm like, oh crap. So I turned around. Anyway, I eventually found it, but it was dark out, and that's what made it really difficult because we have the real country dark here. When it's dark here, it is dark here. It's pitch black. We're not around a big city at all, so it is. You don't have all the light pollution, which is one of the things I love about this. But yeah, we needed to have some land. We needed space, and we originally lived in a little 950 square foot bungalow in Ferndale, Michigan, with a little tiny backyard and bordered by, neighbors all around us. Literally, like you walk out your door and your neighbor's right there. Hated it. We never will go back to that. Never. And don't say never. We will never go back to that because it's just not our thing. We don't like having neighbors like right on top of us. We like having our own space and a lot of open space around. And just, we're loners. We're kind of solitary people. We like that. We don't like everybody knowing like what we're doing at all moments of the day. Why are you walking out of your house? Oh, you walked out your side door. Where are you going? What are you doing? It's like, none of your beeswax, okay? And I literally had a neighbor like that back in the day. It was not fun. It's like, I can't leave my freaking house without her talking to me for like 15 or 20 minutes. And it's like, Jesus, I'm just trying to go to the store, lady. Come on. She was nice. She was really nice. And I actually felt kind of bad because, she was a very nice lady, but it's like, I just want to go to the store. Please let me go. And I'm not kidding. I would actually look out my door. I would look out the door to see like that she wasn't outside and try to like make a run for my car, like a mad dash for my car. Like, let me make a mad dash for my car so I can get there without her stopping me. It was ridiculous. But that doesn't happen anymore, thank God, because that was awful. It was just awful. And I never want to go back to that. I don't want the neighbor life, the suburban life. That's not our kind of thing, and we're not really into that. And so yeah, here we are in Pennsylvania. Sad that my friends are so far away, but it is what it is. They can visit, I can visit them. And so yeah, And I am, perfect timing to end this, I am pulling in the McDonald's drive-thru. Please like and subscribe. Look for that giveaway. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to me ramble. We're currently at the Nuggie window. Somebody knows nuggets are coming.
Goodbye, everyone. I'll remember you all in therapy.